Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We've got a nice 2 out of 10 difficulty Sudoku to start with today, so give yourself a few minutes off, grab a cup of tea or coffee, and let's get into it. Before we start, if you need to refresh your mind on the rules or walk through a tutorial video, you can have a look at the videos linked in the description below. Otherwise, let's kick it off. Okay, so let's take a look at this puzzle together. So following the pattern that we've discussed previously, first of all, let's go around and find those gimmies, the cages where the combination can only be one pair of numbers. Let's start down here. 17, always a good one, can only be made up of 8 and 9. It's the only way for it to be done. 3, just above it, can only be 1 and 2. 4, can only be 1 and 3. And here's possibly a new one. 24 can only be 7, 8, 9. So we can already fill those numbers in. Guaranteed that's what they're. Don't worry, we're going to come back and start narrowing some of the other cages down a little bit more in a moment. Now, I often miss some of these, so I may have done, but don't worry, let's move on to the next step. The next step is saying, is there any way that we can find exact numbers out just by using a little bit of maths? And look, here in the top left corner we can start. If we add these 4 cages together, you can see you get a total of 42, and the website's helping us with that, so we don't have to do the sums, but you can if you want. We've only got one cell missing in that 3 by 3 square, and remember, each 3 by 3 square has to add up to 45, so that cell has to add up to 3, because it's the only way for the total to be 45, which makes that a 3 and makes that a 7. Now, what we've also got in this puzzle is some what you might think of as daisy chaining of that. So if we add these cells up, you can see we get 47, but we're missing this one. So if we add the 7 onto the 47, we get 54, and then that means the difference between 54 and the 45 that has to be in this square is this cell here. 54 minus 45 is 9, so that's a 9. That's really nice. And we can play that same trick again. So look here, we can daisy chain this as well. 37 in here plus 9 makes 46. Means this cell here has to be a 1. If that's a 1, add the 9 on, 46. This is all 45. That's obviously a 1. Right. So we've already got a start with some of the numbers that we need to start playing with. Now, let's start narrowing things down a little bit. First of all, here's a good place to start. If you've got a 1 in this 3 cage, it can't be a 2, 3, 4. It's got to be one of these 2 combinations. And look, we've already got a 3 in this row. Remember, numbers can only appear once in a row, so we can eliminate the combination with 3 in it. So this here has to be a 2, 6. Let's look across now at the 14, because we know 14 is a relatively high cage number, sum for a 2 cell cage, and there's only 2 combinations it can be, 5, 9 or 6, 8. Look, we've just put a 6 in this row, so we can eliminate the 6, 8 as a possibility. The only other one it can be is 5, 9. We can also eliminate a couple in here, because we've got 3 and 5 and 9, so we can eliminate the 3, 7 and the 1, 9. These 2 9s, we can eliminate the 3, 6 and the 4, 5 in both boxes, because they're both the same. And this is a really nice trick. Now, look, we've got 2 9 cages. Both of them have the same combinations open, and there's only 2 combinations possible, which means one of these has to be 1, 8 and the other one has to be 2, 7. If you like, we can put those in there just to remind us. That means we can actually eliminate any that cross over with these combinations. Now, in the 10 cage, we've already eliminated anything with a 9 and a 3 in it thanks to these numbers. We can now eliminate the 2, 8, because the 2, 8 is definitely going to appear somewhere in one of these 9 cages. So this has to be a 4, 6. Okay, now let's look down here. Remember, we put a 1, 3 in here. This means the 1 and the 3 have to appear in this column in this cage and nowhere else. So this cannot be 1, 8. That has to be the 2, 7. take the 2, 7 out of here, that has to be the 1, 8. Really nice start. Let's start pulling a few more out. Here, look, this 8, we need there's 3 combinations possible. We've already got a 2, 6 in that 3 by 3 square, so we can take the 2, 6 out as a possibility. We've also got 1, 8 in this row, which means it can't be 1, 7 because you can't have the 1 appearing there. So this has to be a 3, 5. Here, again with the 9, we can take the 2, 6 out, combinations with 2 in and 6 in because they're already in here. And we can also take the 4, 5 out because we've already got a 5 up here. So this has to be a 1, 8. And lastly, what are we missing? Well, we've got 1s, 2s, 3s. We're missing a 4 and a 7 in this cage. So let's put those in. But look, we've got 4s in this row and we've got a 7 in this row. So we can put a 7 and a 4 in that order. That's nice because that actually, look, 7 helps us clear up over here. That can't be a 7. That has to be the 7. Now, let's look at this row. It's always nice when you start filling in, you start seeing you've either got a gap of 1 or 2, or sometimes 3. Start looking at what it might be. And this is really going to help us because what are we missing in this row? We've not got a 1, we've got a 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got a 6 and a 7. We've not got an 8. So we're missing a 1, 8. So this pair has to be 1, 8. Obviously, if you're trying to make 14, there's only one way you can make 14 with 1 and 8, and that's with that number being a 5. So we've now cleared up that. Let's look here. We know, thanks to the number we got at the start, this cage has to have a 9 in it. So let's eliminate all of the options that don't have 9 in. So here we need either a 1, 4 or a 2, 3. Those are the only valid combinations. But look, we've already got a 1 in that 3 by 3 square. So it can't be 1, 4. This has to be 2, 3. And look, we've got a 2 here and we've got 3s here. So we can put them in already in the right order. Lastly, let's look at what's missing in this 3 by 3. You can either do this just by counting or you can do it with the combinations. Let's do it this way. We've already got a 2. We've already got a 3, 5, 7 and 8. So 2s, 3, 5s, 7s and 8s. So this has to be a 4, 6, 9. It's the only combination it can be. We've already got a 9 here, look. So the 9 slots into that position. 4, 6 in here. And look, really easily, really straightforwardly, we've already solved the top 3 squares. Now, let's continue and see where we can get to. Let's just start doing a little bit of basic housekeeping. We can take 8s out of here because we've got an 8, 9 at the end of this row. Nothing else. We're going to need a little bit more help to start figuring out what these are. Sometimes, as an aside, sometimes this is one of the challenges you can find with some of these puzzles. You progress really well with one area of the board, but then making the transition over to the other area that you've barely got any answers in yet or any combinations in yet is the difficult part. Here's one we can take. Look, there's a 4 in this column. That means we can't have a 1, 4 in here. This has to be a 2, 3, which is nice because it means we can clear this up because that can't be a 2, so it has to be a 1. And also look, 3's in this column. That can't be a 3. There you go. That has to be the 3. So we can pop a 2, 3 in there. And actually we can clear it up further because look, there's a 2 in this 9 by 9 already. So that can't be the 2. That has to be the 2. Okay. Where else can we look? Let's look at this row. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So this could either be a 6 or an 8 or a 9 because we've not resolved where the 8 and the 9 go. So here we can put 6, 8, 9 in. Let's look a bit more closely. Can't be a 6 because you can't have 6 in a 12 because then you'd have to have 6 and 6, which obviously wouldn't be valid. So it can't be a 6 there. So that's either an 8, 9. And what's really nice here, we've now got 2 valid 8, 9 cells. So we've got an 8, 9 pair. If this is 8, that has to be 9. If this is 8, that has to be 9. This means now we've got this pair. This is the only place in this whole column that 8 and 9 can exist, so it cannot be here. So that's a 6, makes that a 7. If you like, you can remind yourself with 3 and 4 here, and actually it can sometimes be helpful because it can, if you put the options in here, it can also show you what you're missing. So look, there's an 8 or a 9 in here, which means a 3 or a 4 has to be in here to make 12, whichever it is. But look, we've already got a 3 in this column, so that cannot be a 3. That's a 4. So that has to be an 8, which means down here that has to be a 9, and this has to be an 8. Further, look, we've got a 2 and an 8 here, which is really helpful. So the 8 means that cannot be an 8, that cannot be a 1. The 2 here means this can't be a 2, making it a 6, making that the 2. So look, we're now starting to spread down this end of the board, this side of the board really nicely. Now, let's look at this column, because again, we've got a situation where we've just got 2 gaps. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, not got a 5, got a 6, 7, 8. So this has got to be 5, 9, because those are the only numbers missing in that column. If that's 5, 9, there's only one way to make 18 with 5 and 9, which is here. That's got to be a 4. And look, we can clear up even more. So here's a 9. 9 can't be twice in one cell, so that's a 5, making that the 9. Which is interesting, because now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're missing a 6 and a 7. So we can pop the 6, 7 in there if it helps. What are we missing here? We've got 1, 2, we're missing a 3 and a 5. So again, it's not going to help us solve anything immediately, but we can pop 3 and 5 in here. While we're at it, we can also just clean up this one, look, because here we've got a 3, which means that can't be a 3. This has to be the 3, and actually that's good, because look, it comes back over here. It means that can't be the 3, and that's the 5. That's the 3, so this clears up. So now we can say, for this 15 cage, we've got to have a 5 in it, so let's eliminate the options that don't have 5 in. For this one, we've got to have a 3 in it. There's only a couple of options that have 3 in them. Can't go too much further with that one yet. This one, look at this. Look at the numbers that would have to be in these cells. If it's a 5, it's either a 1, 9, a 2, 8, a 3, 7, or a 4, 6. It cannot be anything containing a 2 or a 3, because 2 or 3 are already solidly placed in this column blocking it. So here we can definitely cross out that option because it's got a 2 in it, and this option because it's got a 3 in it. And look, remember what we saw in one of the previous videos. The remaining options are 1 and 9 in here, or 4 and 5, or 4 and 6. And we've got a 4, but we can't, and we've got a 1 and 9, but we can't quite solve them yet. We may be able to if and when we can resolve this. Oh, while we're at it, look, 7 and 9 we've popped in here. We can clear that. So that's an 8, and this is a 7-9 pair. Doesn't help us too much overall, but it's a nice little bit of housekeeping to do. Now let's see, here we go, this is a nice one. So 12, there's a 12 cage here. We've already got a 7 and 9, now we've cleared that up, we've got a 7 and 9 in this square. So 7 and 9 cannot appear here, so we can get rid of 3, 9, 5, 7. Gives us a 4, 8 combination there. We can eliminate the 4 from there. We can eliminate 6, 7 from there because of that 7. Still got a few more to go before we've broken this one, I think. This one we can certainly get rid of 3, 4 for several reasons. Because look, there's a 3 there blocking it. There's a 3 blocking that and a 3 blocking that. And there's a 3, 4 here, which means that can neither be 3 or 4. So for 3 reasons, this can't be 3 or 4. Also, using that same logic, look, we've got a 2 and a 5 in this row. So this cell here can be neither 2 or 5. That makes the 2, 5 combination impossible, because otherwise you'd have to have 2 and a 5 in the one cell, which doesn't work. Making this a 1, 6. That's nice because we can start clearing up a little bit here. 6 can't be there, so it's a 4 and a 6. And a 1 can't be in this cell, making the 1 there. Okay, so now we're getting to the situation again where we're limiting our options in this column. What have we got? We've got a 1, we're missing a 2, we've got 3, 4, we're missing a 5. So we can actually put these in if you like. That's either got to be 2 or 5 in those two cells, and that's a pair. What does that give us down here? Well, it means it certainly can't be a 3, 6. 2, 5 means the other side, this other cell has to be, if that's a 2, it can be a 7, or if it's a 5, it can be a 4. So this is either a 7 or a 4. And look, we've got a 7 in this column. So that cannot be a 7, it's a 4. If you want to make 9, that's not a 2, it's a 5. And then that makes that a 2. 5, 4. Missed this earlier when we put the 7, 9 in. Look, this 9 cage, we've already eliminated 1, 8, and 4, 5. Thanks to these, we can now eliminate the 7 because we've got the 7 in the square already from the 7, 9 pair. So this is the 3, 6, which is nice because the only number missing in here now is a 2, so we can put a 2, 8 in there. And also this is nice because look, this 3, 6 now means this number here cannot be a 6, it's got to be a 7. It means that one's got to be a 6, and we can put a 7 in there to pair it. Now, what's missing in here? It's got to be a 1, 2, because those are the only numbers left, and it's the only way to make 10 with 7. There's a 2 here already, so we can put it in that way around. Now we've got this 7 in that we just entered, we can clear up here as well. Look, so that cannot be a 7, it's got to be a 9. That has to be the 7. I think we're making some nice progress now. So let's look at this cell. We can eliminate anything with 1, 2, 4, 7, and 8 because those are numbers already present in that square. 1, 2, 2, 4, 8. So the only way that can exist is as a 3, 5, 9. Got a 9 here already, so the 9 has to go there. Got a 5 there, so the 5 has to be in this cell, and the 3. 3, 5, 9. Now, what's missing in here? We're missing a 6. So we can put the 6 to complete that square. And then look, 5 and 6 make 11, so it has to be 4 to complete that 15 cell cage. We can use this 1 to clear up here. We can use this 4 to clear up here. Now, let's look what's missing in this column, because again, we're in the situation where we've only got 2 left. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, missing a 5 and a 9. And look, 3, 5, 9 was one of our combinations, so that all works out. So this has got to be 3, 5, 9. Now that we've got a few numbers in here, let's start clearing these up. We can 4, 5, and 9 can come out of this one. 4, 5, 9, 4, 4, 5, 5. Oh, and that's nice. It's given us a break. We've only got one combination. So this is a 1, 6, 7. Look, we've got a 1 here. So the 1 pops in there. This is a 6, 7 that will resolve in a moment. Because look, this 1 gives us a 6 in that position and a 1 in that position. And this 6 comes over and gives us a 7, 6 like that. Now, what's left? We've only got 3 numbers missing from this cell. Let's do the combination way. Can't have a 1 in it because the 1's present. Can't have a 4 in it because the 4's already present. Can't have a 5 in it because the 5's already present. So this is a 2, 3, 8. And look, we've got a 2 here. So the 2 has to go in that position. This is a 3, 8 pair, but look, we've got an 8. So the 3 and the 3's there. So this is the 8. Works out nicely. Now, this has to have a 2 in it. So we can eliminate any combination that doesn't have 2 in. Gives us 3 left. Now let's look at what could be in here. 2, 3, 9, 2, 4, 8, or 2, 5, 7. Definitely can't be 2, 3, 9 because look, we've got a 3 here. So we can eliminate that option. Can't be 2, 4, 8 because we've already got an 8 here. So this has to be 2, 5, 7. We've got a 7 there. So this has to be the 5 and this the 7. We can now use that 5 to come over here, clear up there, and clear up here. Now, what's missing in this cell? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is missing, and no, it's not. 4 is missing, and 9 is missing. So there you go, 4 and 9, and they're in that order because there's a 9 there, and there's a 4 here. Now we can use this, clear up the 9 and the 5. We can bring the 4 down here, so this can't be a 4, it has to be an 8, and that has to be the 4, the 3, that has to be the 6, and there you go, we've solved the puzzle. That one wasn't too difficult, and I hope it was a really nice example again of some of the basic foundational techniques that you can use to solve killer Sudoku. If you have any feedback on this video, please feel free to leave a comment, leave a thumbs up. It'd be great to hear what you think. If you'd like to see some more Sudoku videos like this, please subscribe. We'll be posting videos like this almost every day. Otherwise, thanks very much for watching and have a great day.